This is VSiN By The Books on VSiN, the sports betting network.
We are back, VSiN By The Books. Dave Ross and Jensen Lewis here on the Friday edition of. And Jensen, I always say this, like, I seriously try not to play favorites with our guests. Kind of like we're talking about if you get married one day, you don't play favorite with the groomsmen. Yes. But our next guest is one of my favorite people that we have, that I've ever had the good fortune of crossing paths with and working with. He is the one and only Danny Graves. You can follow him on X as I do at DGravy32. Joins us now here in the Progressive Guest Line. He's there in Bristol, Connecticut, working for ESPN these days, the all-time saves leader in the history of the Cincinnati Reds, and the first Vietnamese player to ever be into Major League Baseball. The list goes on and on. Kamish, welcome to the program, my friend. How are you?
Dude, I love when I come on with you because it doesn't matter where we are. The intros that you give me make me feel like I'm the coolest dude in the world. It's unbelievable. I love it. I'm so glad that I'm here chatting with you. And you know, I didn't even know that we're not on air already. I thought we were just having a conversation and it was on air, but I heard the music come on and yeah, it was great.
Yeah, that's normally the way that our conversations go. It's almost like, is the camera on? It doesn't even matter sometimes. You know, when I have you and Jensen on, I got to ask about closers. And I want to start there because, Jensen, I know you've been watching Emmanuel Clase very closely in Cleveland. Commissioner, I'll start with you. And, Jensen, I'd love to get the follow-up from you. As a closer, is it a year-to-year thing? He was so dominant last year. And I know this year maybe there's some issues there. What is it about the mentality of closers, Danny, that does it change year to year, or do you have that same confidence that even if I didn't get it done last time, I can get it done and close the door this time?
So I think as a successful closer would have the mentality the same year after year and game after game. It's the physical part that might not be the same. And I'm not saying there's anything physical wrong with Clase. I'm just saying, you know, when you have a mentality as a closer, that's why you became a closer, because you're able to forget about blowing a save the night before and going out in there and shoving it and getting a save the next day. As far as Clase's struggles, I mean, the numbers aren't there. And of course, Jensen, you've seen him a lot more than I have, but he's proven to be a human being this year a little bit because, you know, he's been that guy that is just any time out, he's unstoppable. He had a .6 something ERA last year. That's unheard of. He only gave up 2 home runs all year. That's unheard of. And I think you got to give credit sometimes to the hitters, not very often because I don't like hitters, but we sometimes have to give them credit, right, Jensen? Because they do their homework too. You know, they do their homework when they're facing pitchers, and Clase has been around a while. So maybe it's that their scouting reports are catching up. Maybe he's not in the strike zone as much as he was last year, which I know that if you look at strike percentages, I don't dig so deep in those, but strike percentages, it's not as fine as it was last year up to this point, but I'm not worried about Clase. I don't think Stephen Vogt is worried about Clase right now. I know fans are worried about him because he's not dominating like he has been. But, I mean, what do you think, Jensen? Like, you've seen him a lot more frequently than I have.
Yeah, Gravy, I think there's a couple of things, and I've tried to tell DR this a lot, is when you're a pitcher, you know, you have a couple early bad outings, you always want to stay objective in your evaluation. Number one, you know, were you convicted in the pitch? If that's a yes, you move on to question 2, that I executed in the location I wanted to. If you answer yes to that, then you go to number 3, and that's tip your cap, because as you said, you know, these hitters are paid a lot of money to be able to do this as well. I would say that the 2 things that are concerning about him, number 1, the swing and miss percentage is way down. So, you know, is that flattening out in the zone? Is that, you know, getting too much of the zone too often? Is he not mixing it up enough with the slider and being too cutter happy? So anxious to see where that kind of works itself out. Speaking of bullpens, let's go back to our neck of the woods also in the southern part of the state. The Reds, without Alexis Diaz, and it was such a bad spring training and an inconsistent one for him, now on the IL, Tito Francona and Derek Johnson having to figure out to kind of ring around the rosy for leverage opportunities back there. You and I have been in big league bullpens. We know it's seamless when everyone knows their role. What do you see with the Reds and how they can kind of address this, trying to figure out the last 6 to 9 outs of their games?
That is a great question. I was there for opening day, and Hunter Green dominated the Giants, and it looked like it was going to be a for sure win. And then come the ninth inning, they had that exact problem: who's going to get the ball? And they gave it to Ian Gilbo, I think is who it was. But these are tough situations, because if you're a team that is trying to compete and have the ability to compete, you need to figure out who's going to be the 8th and 9th inning guys. And, some analytic people will say differently, that, the closers don't matter. It doesn't matter who gets the save, but it actually does, in my opinion. People need to know who's the 8th inning guy, and people need to know who's the 9th inning guy. To me, as a 9th inning person, matchups don't matter, because if you're in the 9th inning, that means you can get a lefty or a righty out. So it shouldn't matter what the matchups are. Now, they don't have that particular guy right now. I know that Taylor Rogers has a bunch of saves in his career. So if it was me, I would throw him out there and say, here, you've got 80-something saves. Save these games until Alexis comes back. I don't care that you're left-handed. I don't care what batter's coming up. You've proven that you could save games at this level. That might be too simple. I don't know. As Sauce knows, I like to just, kind of play it by the book, play it old school. Sometimes, hey, here's my guy. Go out and get it. It's your game to win or lose.
And by the way, Commish, that's one of the reasons why I was big on the Reds, is because Tito Francona taking over this team. You coined the phrase, I use it all the time, Great American Small Park. Really, as Jensen alluded to, that the closing is an issue, but the starting pitching is not. It's been there. You can't keep losing games 1-0. Great American Small Park, why are they not scoring more runs, Commish?
That's bizarre, because before those 3 straight games of 1-0 losses, they scored like 14 runs.
Right.
And Ellie De La Cruz had a couple homers and like 4 or 5 RBIs that game, and all of a sudden they just decided to shut it down. I don't know. I know in the past few years, even before Tito got there, their offense got into these ruts where if they struggled a little bit, then they all got out of their game plan and they all started just to try to win it themselves. They forgot about, just trying to get on base, trying to get hits, trying to get guys over, trying to get runs in. It started to be, okay, let's keep swinging for the fences. And they're not that kind of a team. They're not a team that's going to have a bunch of guys that are going to hit home runs. They got to manufacture runs. That's why Ellie De La Cruz can steal 60 or 7 bases. But it's like, I guess when it's the struggles come, everybody else just kind of falls into it, and then they wait for somebody to bust out, and then they start scoring runs again. It's very bizarre, and it's very frustrating. But with all that said, I think Tito can figure that out with putting guys in the right positions in that order to score some runs.
DG, last one from me, buddy. As we look at kind of the first couple of weeks of the season here, your top win teams, the Dodgers, no surprise. The Padres, though, at 10-3, and then the Giants. So you got 3 teams that have basically the most wins in baseball, all from the National League West. Give me your 30,000-foot view of Major League Baseball thus far with a couple of weeks in.
I think everybody, of course, you mentioned the Dodgers being where they are, and I hate to say it, but they're probably the best team in baseball. I'm shocked with Atlanta right now, only winning 3 games on the year, and they started off 0-6 or 0-7. But I think that's going to turn around. But I love what Dave Ross of the New York Mets has been doing.
Let's go.
I mean, right, Saucy? Yeah, let's go Mets. I know a lot of people are hoping that they fail again because of all the money they gave to Juan Soto, but I really like this team. I like Pete Alonso and, of course, Francisco Lindor. These guys they're going to be good. If they can stay healthy, they're going to continue to compete. And the Phillies, I do think the Phillies, at the end of the day, will get to the World Series. I said it. The Dodgers won't get to the World Series this year. The Phillies will.
I know that people right now, they can't see you because we're hearing you right now in your travels. But I don't know if you know, but you and Jensen share something in common, Commish. You guys are both like big hair metal 80s band guys. You like to go to the Poison shows and the throwback shows. Have you gone to any lately? I know there's that famous picture of you and Don and Booney and the boys. Have you gone to any big hair metal bands from the 80s in recent time passing?
I have not, because I will not go to one of those without Sean Casey, Adam Dunn, or Aaron Boone, because that's just part of the crew. We have to go together. But I can tell you, Sebastian Bach of Skid Row has tweeted. We've tweeted back and forth. So I mean, I'm all Skid Row. All day long, yeah.
I like to think we fostered that relationship with you and Sebastian Bach, because you love some 18 and Life to Go and Skid Row. Kamish, it's always great to catch up with you, my friend. We look forward to catching up with you throughout the baseball season. And again, I don't have to panic on the Reds. They're going to be okay?
They're going to be fine. Tito Francona didn't go there just to rebuild. He's going to win. Jensen, you know that. Tito's a winner.
Amen.
All right, you're a winner too, Kamish. Give him a follow.
Hey, listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, the next time I speak to you guys, I will be on video. I'll find a way to get on video, because I got to show you my haircuts.
Love it.
That's what I was waiting to see what cut you're rocking, so that I can try to not rock it, because I can't pull off the hairstyles that you do. The Commish, Danny Graves, give him a follow, DGravy32. Danny, safe travels, my friend. We'll catch up again soon.
I appreciate it, guys.
There he is. Always love catching up with him. And fellow closers on the program. That might have been a first. Two guys
won't be the last.
Two guys that know how to get the job done at the end. We have a controversy at Augusta. We'll discuss it next here at VSiN By The Books.
You're tuned in to VSiN By The Books, right here on VSiN.
We are back, VSiN By The Books. Really enjoy the conversation with Danny Graves. I really do like picking y'all's brains, because you and Danny, to be up there to try to get those last 3 outs of any game, let alone, playoff games, big game. I mean, that's real pressure. Journalists, a lot of times, broadcasters, whatever you want to call us, we don't face that kind of pressure unless we're under a deadline. But that's your everyday. Like, Jensen, you knew, as Danny Graves did, that when you went out there is pressure, because you're not coming in down 6 in a you're always in a high leverage situation.
I think the best part about this job now is being able to use that for the handicapping,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously we'll deploy that as we get into the summer months. I'm just thinking too in the pitch clock era now, where the cardio issues for guys, especially, you don't think about covering first and then having to come back and make a pitch and think, oh God, well, that's going to affect command and everything. It does now, because guys that are at altitude, like, think about Denver. I think about the super humid spots.
Yeah.
With the pitch clock era now, you're thinking St. Louis, you're thinking Kansas City. It's going to be Sacramento now. Denver at altitude. Arizona, even though they play indoors, super, super dry. Okay, when we get into the 110, 115, degree high days, there's a lot just from the weather. And then also we go down to Tampa, because they're going to be outdoors now. A lot to factor in here, especially for end of games and totals as well.
Because what I'm getting at is, your head has to be in the game at all times, right? You got to think it's not just the physical prowess as well that you have as a professional athlete. I wonder if Jose Luis Ballester was thinking properly yesterday, because we do have a controversy at Augusta. We all know the famed Rays Creek. You can find it on 13. You can find it on 15. Normally what you don't find is a player in the mid-round relieving themselves, if you will, in Rays Creek during the round of golf. That's what Jose Luis Ballester did yesterday in his first ever round at Augusta. He was asked about it afterward, and this is what the young Spaniard had to say.
What happened there?
Well, I completely forgot that we had those restrooms on the left of the tee box.
Oh, okay. 13th tee.
Yes,
yeah,
correct. And then I'm like, I really need to pee. Didn't really know where to go, and since JT had an issue around the green, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna sneak here in the river. Probably the people would not see me that much, and then they clap for me. Probably one of the claps that I really got today, like real loud. So that was kind of funny.
Are you concerned that there might be any blowback from that at all? Or I mean, obviously they did see you, right?
Yeah, they saw me. They saw me.
Yeah.
I mean, it was not embarrassing at all for me. So if I had to do it again, I would do it again.
I believe the boy said he had to go pee. Right out of Forrest Gump. I mean, it's right out of Forrest Gump. Jensen, there's a lot to unpack here. I never thought in my wildest dreams we'd be talking about a golfer urinating in Rays Creek for patrons to see. And by the way, they're not called fans. They're called patrons. I know it's a little snotty, maybe at Augusta. If there was ever a golf course that you do not take a leak in for the thousands of people to see, it's Augusta National. What are we doing, kid? I know he's young. I know he's an amateur. And I know in your Muni, you and I have done it too. We've all done it if you play golf. You go deep into the woods because you can't find. This is Augusta every hole. I saw Ludwig get Oberg on 16, tee off, and then go make a run for the restroom. I mean, what are we doing here? Do we have to have a conversation with young Jose Luis Ballester?
So again, because this is your first time there, how is a conversation not like, and I get it during the round, some golfers may not want to talk to other golfers. Okay. Brooks Koepka, not in a hurry to talk to Bryson DeChambeau in years past,
right,
or anyone who's playing with Patrick Cantlay because of how long he takes. Dave, let's assume you're caddying for me. I am young Jose, and I know I need to go. It would behoove me to ask you, hey, what do you think? Or you're playing with world number one, Scotty Scheffler. Oh, by the way, he's won it a few times already. I would have asked you to ask Scotty's caddy to say, hey, my guy's got to go. What do you recommend here? They're going to help you out. Okay. And I'm pretty sure that the betting favorite advice is not going to be go right over to Rays Creek. Take care of it. You'll be fine. It won't be a big deal whatsoever. I can't believe this happened. I really can't.
I can't either. It's kind of shocking. That's the thing to me. It's like I cannot believe that one, he thought if we're taking him at what he said, he thought it would not be a big deal. And then he realized, oh, yeah, everybody's watching me. Yeah, dude, you're peeing in Race Creek. Like, how did you not know that? Like, I just wonder at Augusta, of all places, again. And I know that there's going to be people listening go, oh, get off my lawn, you old guys. He just took a leak in Race Creek. What's the big deal? It's not so much that. There are a lot of kids there. We saw it on Wednesday. There are a ton of kids there. So it's not just this thing of like, hey, it's not that big deal. We all do it on the golf course. Yes, we do. But again, you normally go deep into the woods, and there's no galleries at your local Muni wherever you're playing golf around the country. So it's just in the woods. So I don't think that that's necessarily a big deal. But like, it's Augusta. You're on TV. Thousands of people are everywhere. He knows that. Like, this isn't the first time he's played. Look, guy's an amateur champion. Like, we got to have more self-awareness, don't we?
Yeah, just looking at the tee time. So, again, they'll be in the later groups, obviously, as one of the first to go off. 1:23 p.m. A little sage advice here. Get everything done beforehand. Okay? Just saying. Get everything done.
Kelly Bidwin is going to be coming on with us next with Gil Alexander, next in a numbers game. He says, if we're going to play devil's advocate, it's part of course knowledge and experience. We've been talking about the importance of that all week. So this is a way for Jose Luis Ballester to know the ins and outs of Rays. He really knows the ins of Rays Creek now.
Sure.
So
it'd be ironic if he hit a ball into Rays Creek too, just saying.
The only thing I would say to young Jose, it's not going to be a big deal. It probably will be something that gets brought up if he's fortunate enough to come back from time to time. I will say this, though. The only part that I would take issue with young Jose is when you say, I'd do it again. Like, no, they're not going to let you get away with this. They will not. Fred Ridley and the guys that run in Augusta, they will say, hey, youngster, one time, We'll let it go. This is very Happy Gilmore-ish, is it not? You got in a fight with a game show host. Yeah, who won that fight, Happy?
Yeah, right. I got to feel so like Justin Thomas is, as we know, because he and Tiger, go back and forth a lot for their home games. JT is renowned at grinding a little bit on guys. I'm not going to be shocked if there's a little kangaroo court or maybe a little note. Like, here's the thing. He's at Ballesteros at +4.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to try and make the weekend. Okay. And if he gets to be the low amateur, I would say the good and bad. The good is, if he gets low amateur, that's great. But I'll bet the boys have a little something there, for him to come home to, like, hey, man.
Can't do that. We're not doing that again. The other thing I thought that was interesting, and again, maybe this is just being young and you're not really, it almost sounded like he was taking a shot. I believe it was at JT that, like, he was taking too long, so I couldn't wait, and I had to go. Ooh, like, that's also, that's not going to sit well with the other, the guys. You're playing with Scotty Scheffler. You're playing with world number 1. What do you think Scotty's thinking? The kid's taking a leak at Race Creek? What?
Totally agree.
The other thing, again, just the new thing the kids are doing, Jensen. They got the hat-ons. Arizona
the
State.
upside down stuff.
We're doing
stand it. Sorry.
What are we doing?
Can't do it. Nope.
This is the cool thing. So I know that Brandon, our producer, I believe, BV, did you go to Arizona State? Is that right?
I think he did. For a little bit.
Graduate of Arizona. You got to be proud today if you're a Forks Up guy. And we're talking about your kid as the amateur champion at Augusta for wearing his hat on with the letters upside down and taking a leak in Race Creek. That cannot be your takeaway if you're young Jose. Like, you got to experience the good. That's not what we want to take away from round 1 at Augusta. I hope it's incident-free when you're playing with world number 1 today, Scotty Scheffler.
Yep. And by the way, speaking of Spaniards, did he have a worse day or did John Rahm? Have a worse day. Holy Lord.
At least he didn't take
he almost pulled the Johnny Drama. He almost broke his own driver.
He thought about it.
Oof, bad.
3 over par for Rambo, but he did not take a leak in Race Creek. I mean, that's, for one thing for Spain yesterday, that's the one thing he did not do. I just cannot believe that is a story, but it is a story now because we've never seen that before. I don't think we'll ever see it again. ProfitX, check it out. Masters, of course, is going on right now. ProfitX is offering great odds, live odds, all tournament long. It's a peer-to-peer sports exchange available in 40 or more states in the United States. First of its kind. Exchange guarantee the best odds on average by 10 to 20%. You can even request your own odds. Download ProfitX today. Use the code VSIN. Earn up to $200 in profit cash over your very first month. Adam Burke next here, VSiN By The Books.
You're tuned in to VSiN By The Books right here on VSiN.
We are back, VSiN By The Books, getting ready for round 2. It is underway. Tough conditions so far at Augusta National. We'll get some updates there before we say goodbye for this edition, but a lot of baseball talk to get to. Always love catching up with our guy, Adam Burke here. Does a great job as a managing editor at VSiN. Give him a follow on X as we do at Skating Tripods. Joins us this morning again on the Progressive Guest Line. Adam, we had Danny Graves on earlier in the show. Of course, we've got a Guardian Indian here on the show every day in Jensen Lewis. Any panic for you in the great city of Cleveland with the Tribe's or the Guardian's slow start to begin the year?
I wouldn't call it panic per se. But there are obvious problems with this baseball team. I mean, look, if you would have told me 2 years ago how much they would miss David Fry in the lineup, I would have been like, who the hell is David Fry? But here they are in a situation where their lineup is very shallow. Their top 4 guys are all pretty capable. Beyond that, there's very, very little. And that's going to be a problem throughout the course of the season. And the starting pitching is a concern. We knew that coming in. The bullpen still looks, for the most part, pretty good. But look, I mean, all the teams in the AL Central have kind of had varying levels of struggling so far this season. And so, I mean, they're kind of surviving, keeping their heads above water. The hope would be that as the season goes along, they bring up some of the prospect hitters that they have, and these guys are kind of upgrades. But I wouldn't call it panic, but I mean, there are obvious flaws on this team that they need to figure out.
Yeah, Guardians are averaging just a click under 3.7 runs scored per game. That is going to be a tough way to do business. Did you have on your bingo card, Adam, that we would have 3 teams in the National League West? I think one obvious with the Dodgers, but the Padres and the Giants out to the starts that they are. Padres lone unbeaten team at home. They'll host the Rockies starting tonight, who actually got the better of them last year. Your thoughts on kind of the overall start here for the National League West?
Well, I mean, you got, 4 really talented teams there, and I'm going to group the Giants in here as well, where, I mean, seems like maybe they've tapped into something of a fountain of youth with Justin Verlander. Had a bunch of swings and misses in his last start, which is something that we really haven't seen as much from Verlander. He's been not the same strikeout guy. He's still very good at inducing weak aerial contact and stuff like that, but if he's going to start generating more strikeouts, I mean, all of a sudden, this Giants rotation looks very legit. I don't know how long Robbie Ray will stay together, and of course, he gets the ball here tonight for the Giants. But, look, I mean, it's one of those things where all 4 of these teams are good. I don't see a whole lot of weaknesses. I mean, the Giants have a really good bullpen. The Padres have a good bullpen. The Dodgers just keep running arms out there over and over and over again. The one flaw, I think Arizona's bullpen doesn't really impress me a ton. So I think they're maybe the team that could be the weakest of the 3 that are fighting for second place. But I still think it's the Dodgers division to lose, even with all the injuries that they have. And let's see what the Padres do now with, Jackson Merrill banged up. Jake Cronenworth is not 100%. Fernando Tatis aggravated that shoulder again earlier this week. Let's see what the Padres do here, because their depth has already been tested, particularly in the starting rotation without Musgrove, Darvish, and Matt Waldron. So, they've shown well here so far. And, I mean, it's a very, very, very good division, and I feel bad for the Rockies because they're just going to be a punching bag all year.
250-1 if you want to grab the Rockies at 2-9 to win the division. I don't think anybody's grabbing that number. Adam, maybe the biggest disappointment so far to begin the year are the Braves at 3-9. They get a nice walk-off win last night to get their 3rd win of the year. They're 5 games back here to begin the year. And again, you can't win the division in April, but you could certainly lose it. I don't know if they're there yet. Starting a series in Tampa Bay. How important is it for Atlanta to show that we're still the Braves, we're still going to be there in the end, even though we've gotten off to this horrendous start?
So I am getting very, very close, and I will look at it more here today. I'm getting very, very close to taking the Braves to win the NL East, and I think their yes price to make the playoffs is kind of getting into the range that I'm sort of looking for here. Look, I mean, I realize that they're off to a very, very tough start. Also, look at who they've played. I mean, they've played a ridiculously difficult schedule to this point. They did end up playing the Marlins, which, the Marlins they're at least a team that has okay pitching. They have a lot of other flaws, but I mean, they've played the Dodgers, Padres, and Phillies. Like, those are 3 very legit teams. We just talked about the NL West and how good it is. And the Phillies might have the best rotation in baseball, once Ranger Suarez comes back, plus they have a good lineup. So I think the Braves have just played a very difficult schedule to this point, and here they are. They're still 8th in hard hit percentage, 5th in barrel percentage. Ronald Acuna Jr. will be back in probably 4 to 6 weeks. Spencer Strider was just gassing dudes in the minor leagues, so he's ready to go. He's ready to come back. Spencer Schwellenbach is awesome. This Braves team is ready to go on a run now that the schedule is going to lighten up a little bit for them. I'm getting close. Kind of in that little close to 3-1 range to win the division. I'm getting close to firing on it. And if I can get -150, -160 to make the playoffs, that's something I'm going to be very interested in, because I think this team is still really, really good.
Yeah, shout out to you. Also, speaking of young guns, Schwellenbach, I know you had Hunter Brown highlighted in the betting guide before the season came out. He's off to a great start. By the way, our Logan Gilbert Cy Young future also looking quite appetizing as well. On the flip side, offensively, we got 3 teams that are averaging at least 6 or more runs scored per game. I think 2 of them maybe not surprising in the Yankees and the Cubs. The third one are the Cardinals at 6 flat. What is sustainable about the Cardinals for you, if anything? Because I think this is borrowed time. I think this pixie dust is going to wear off. I can't really buy long-term stock in where the Cardinals are at.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like a whole lot of the elements of this team either. I mean, they don't really hit for a lot of power. They don't have a whole lot of slugging percentage. They are up there in terms of hard hit percentage, kind of in that top 10 range, but this is a team that, to me, just doesn't really have enough staying power, as you mentioned. I mean, a team that, right now they're running a pretty good home run to fly ball percentage for, like I said, I think the lack of power that they have. They don't really elevate the baseball enough for me to expect kind of their, some of their slugging percentage numbers to this point to be sustainable. Look, I mean, this as well as I do, right? The early part of the season, it's a very high variance environment. Some teams are going to do some things that you don't expect them to do. Then they're going to kind of fall back. I think the Angels are another one of those teams that's going to fall back here as we keep going forward. But the Cardinals were a team that I didn't expect much from coming into the season. I don't love their rotation. I don't love the bullpen outside of Helsley. And I think the offense, I agree with you. I think that's something that's definitely ripe for some negative regression here. So the Cardinals are a team that I'm not expecting much from as we go forward.
Let's stay with the same theme, but in the American League, and maybe the two biggest surprises at the beginning part of the year are the Angels at 8-4, a half game behind the Rangers there in the West, and the Blue Jays right now, basically percentage points behind the Yankees at 8-6, but tied for the lead there in the AL East. Staying power with either one of those teams, and which one's been a bigger surprise to you so far?
The Angels are definitely the bigger surprise for me. I mean, the Blue Jays have always had talent. It's just a matter of it kind of all coming together at once. And, probably some pretty positive vibes there in the clubhouse. It seems like things have changed a little bit from last year where there were some dark clouds hanging over the organization, wondering who's going to be sticking around, had some questions in the front office, had some questions with the coaching staff. Now you lock in Vladdy Jr., and I think that's something that kind of, permeates through the entire clubhouse. They've gotten some pretty good starting pitching. Chris Bassett has been exceptional. Kevin Gausman's a veteran guy who's going to figure out whatever's ailing him. I think that they have some degree of staying power, but also to me, they're still, pretty clearly the fifth best team in the AL East, I think. So, that's something where I don't really expect them to continue on the trend line that they're on. The Angels are really interesting here because they're 12th in hard hit percentage. They're third now in barrel percentage. I don't expect this to continue. At the same time, there seems to be something really different about this offense. And I don't know if it's maybe, some of the coaching changes that they've made. I know they changed hitting coaches coming into the season, but I just don't think this pitching staff has enough staying power. The bullpen, the high leverage guys are okay. The rotation is not very good. Jose Soriano is an interesting arm, but the rotation's not good otherwise. They're going to have to keep hitting like this to keep putting up these results, and I just don't think that that's possible.
Yep, about 30 seconds, Berkey. Last one from me. Any Masters additions to your portfolio after you saw round one yesterday?
Yeah, so I mean, I laid some prices in matchups with Davis Thompson. I thought he played well yesterday, 11th in strokes gained total. Didn't putt very well, which is kind of his problem, but there were a lot of guys that played well tee to green and didn't putt super effectively yesterday that wound up putting up good scores. I like Tyrrell Hatton today as he kind of makes his way around the course. And then I'm looking to fade Sungjae Im throughout the rest of the weekend here, where he's kind of spraying the ball all over the place, but putting really well. You can't spray the ball all over the place at Augusta National.
No, that's exactly. It's kind of the Bryson DeChambeau effect. Like, if you're good enough like Bryson to get away with it, are you good enough if you're Sungjae Im? Might be a longer day today. Burke, always appreciate it, man. We'll catch up again soon.
Have a good one, guys.
There he is. Give him a follow on X at Skating Tripods. Does a great job here at the network as our managing editor. And right now, $59 with our summer special right now covers you all the way through August 1st. Betting splits, Jensen. You're great at this. Circa here behind us, DraftKings as well. You're looking at those each and every day. We'll get into some of those best bets that we have coming up in the next segment. Maybe some of those that are born from the betting splits that you get right now when you become a VSiN Pro subscriber. So go to VSiN.com/subscribe. $59. That's all it takes.
You're tuned in to VSiN By The Books, right here on VSiN.
A lot of great baseball talk in the program. Adam Burke joining us in the last segment. Danny Graves earlier this hour as well. But I do believe we're getting a lot of responses on Jose Luis Ballester and the incident at Augusta for taking a leak in Rays Creek.
Sure.
It rhymes. I didn't know that it would, but it did.
You just put that together.
So I've gotten a couple ones. One, my boy Ferdy just sent me a toilet emoji. Another one, my boy Jesse said he's going to have a toilet waiting. He's going to have a diaper waiting for him in the locker room today from the other players. And
like
then
that.
I think my mom chimed in with the winner. She said the next player to roll his ball into Rays Creek might not reach in to get it.
Taking unplayable, huh?
If you hit your ball in the Rays, you're not going to go. You're going to be like, oh.
I see why.
I'm just going to let that thing go.
Yeah.
Probably not going to go down there and get it. I know if it's a Titleist for us, we might want to go in the water and get it, but not if Ballestera's been there before us. We're going to let that ball go. It's over. We've got to get a new one. Let's get to our best bets here, brought to us by G-Bank, the official bank of VSiN. Round 2 underway, Jensen. Justin Rose, really good start. 1 under through 3, so our leader has now increased that lead to 4. Anything that you're going to be looking for here in round 2?
I did add already for VSiN Pro subscribers a Hideki Matsuyama top 10, including ties, plus 330. I do think that he finds his way today and at least gets himself back into contention. I tell you, the biggest storyline for me today is going to be where is this cut eventually at? Because I think, what do we have? Only 3 guys in red figures here so far that are on the course, at least from their round 2 scores today. So the course obviously getting tougher, but I mean, pretty big resistance already, Dave, from what I'm seeing. A lot of multiple bogeys on a lot of guys' cards thus far.
Right now, projected cut is plus 2. I would be surprised if it doesn't slide to plus 3 because it's playing tough the way it is today so far. A little bit cooler, a little bit of the wind up early. There is a move in the betting market. Scotty Scheffler's still the betting favorite at plus 210. But with that early birdie, remember Justin Rose was plus 750, and Ludwig Goldberg was the second betting choice. Not anymore. Rosie is now the second betting choice. Remember, he was 120 to 1 yesterday. Now he's plus 550. And I know it's early in the round on a Friday, but, Kelly Bidwin's walking through and say, "Go away, Rosie." And I'm with him, like we're kidding, but I don't think he's the mentality of him. He's not going to go away. He might not. He's not. I don't think he's going to run away from the course because I just don't know that he has that talent at 44 to do that. But Jensen, I'd be really surprised if Rosie makes a Roryan mistake with a couple doubles late to let everybody back in the field.
Yeah, as I'm looking at the top guys here, I do like Corey Connors today, and of course, rooting interest. I have a 45 to 1 ticket from taking him live yesterday. Farther down the board here, like if we're getting into the even par territory with Rory, that's where Colin Morikawa. I know you're high still on Joaquin Niemann. Those are names that it's crazy to say they're 8 back without even teeing off just yet. And that's with Rosie already feeling pretty good about it. So I also look at Cam Smith. Daniel Berger's out there, par on hole number 1. Akshay Bhatia is someone that really closed with a flourish yesterday.
Boy, did he ever.
Jason Day, course horse, a guy that has had a lot of success. And then where's Bryson's number? He tees off here in about a half hour. Is he someone that you jump in on live just knowing you're going to need to go low to try and catch Justin Rose?
Only 4 guys right now in single digits. That would be Scotty at 210, Rosie at plus 550, the big Swede Ludwig Goldberg is at 6 to 1, and then you mentioned Bryson DeChambeau at plus 650, and then you get to Roars at 12 to 1, then you get to Corey Connors at 18 to 1, Tyrrell Hatton right there, another live golfer, 25 to 1, Colin at 25 to 1, 33 to 1 here at Circa, but those are off the board now that the round has begun here. You can get in live here at DraftKings and other places. I'm not going to get mad at you if you're looking at Colin today. As I don't know if he's too far back to win, but maybe live top 10s. And that's a ticket you already have in pocket, right?
Yep. Yeah, one of my favorite plays, plus $1.25. Still think that holds today. I do think Hideki finds a way to go low, and gosh, I'm still wishing that he was able to nail that birdie putt on 18 yesterday. So anxious to see. And Colin will be a focus for me. He tees at 1 o'clock. So anxious to see what the course structure looks like. How hard and how fast are those greens, if indeed the weather is going to play any factor whatsoever today. So right now, a lot riding on some of these guys that are at even par +1 when they tee off, just knowing the conglomerate that has already fallen back right, Dave? As you said, +2 projected cut, probably moves to +3 if the course is playing as stiff as it is right now.
I want to give out a couple best bets that I have here for UFC 314 tomorrow night in Miami. And I'm going to take a couple of flyers, as you know I like to do here, on a couple dogs. And one of those dogs is Julian Erosa. And you go, wait a minute, Juicy J is -310 to beat Darren the Damage Elkins. Not if you take him by submission. Juicy J, last 2 outings out there, has 2 submission victories in his last 2. You can get him at 4-1 to beat Darren Elkins by submission. I love this play. That Julian Erosa is not great with the hands, but he can really be slick with the subs. The Damage puts himself in damaging situations here. We love Darren Elkins for his fighting spirit. I think he might get caught. Look for Juicy J, 4-1 submission price there. Turn that big favorite into a big dog. I like Jim Miller, Bad Moon Rising, Virginia Tech in the house, 6-1 against young Chase Hooper. Hooper is great on the ground, submission guy himself. I can see Jim Miller getting top position, ground and pound. Give me Jim Miller 6-1 to pull the big upset. And then I'm going to roll with Patty the Batty here. I finally got there. I'm going to roll with Patty Pimblett against Michael Chandler. Look, that chin is up for Patty Pimblett. It always looks like it's there to be hit. So I can understand why people want to back the American and Michael Chandler in this spot. If you're backing Chandler, it's only by KO. And yes, he's got the power to knock out Patty Pimblett. Remember, this is potentially a 5-round fight. That gives Patty a lot of opportunity to do damage, survive early if he has to. Chandler can gas too. I know he went 5 hard rounds, certainly with some of the best out there in the division. But to me, this is Patty Pimblett by sub. So I'm not going to lay the $1.48 there. I'm going to play Patty via sub at UFC 314. Any tickets in pocket for you there?
I'm going to wait, and per usual, maybe we'll have to start posting it because our producer, Brandon, it's going to be his baptism into the 4-leg parlay foray, if you will. So keep following us on social media. Maybe we'll post that ticket. You've been 3 out of 4, man. We've been right there.
So close.
It's really been one of those, if one thing kind of breaks for us the right way, we get that home. So anxious to build that with you tonight and tomorrow morning.
Another one that I'm going to have in pocket, Sean the Sniper Woodson against Dan Ige. I love 50K Ige. Woodson is too tall, too lanky. Ige's got to get inside, and when he does in the clinch, Woodson can do real damage with the knees. Look for Woodson via decision. Instead of laying the $1.75, you can get that around even money, some plus money in Woodson there if you can find it. I love that play as well. Baseball, very quickly here. Anything you have in pocket yet on the diamond today?
All right. So for people, as we move forward, Fridays, because they're all usually night games, and unless the Cubs are at home and they begin a series with an afternoon game, a lot of these numbers, especially the betting splits, we will not get a lot of updates until some of those lineups start to trickle out. So if you're a VSiN Pro subscriber, I post throughout the day, so I'm probably going to wait a little bit more early afternoon, Dave. One other thing I would throw out at people for the Masters today. Rob, if you're looking for placement markets, I'm not mad at you if you want to take a little shot on Robert McIntyre, top 20, including ties at DraftKings. I know it's a little farther down the board here, but if someone can make a run, I do like him. Mentioned feel good about Connors. I just cannot get over Hideki Matsuyama at 90-1. He may not win it, but I would seriously want to have at least something on that price for someone who could absolutely go low, who has shown the ability. I do like him more as my top 10 at plus 330. But just looking at some of these prices, and I'll stick with Morikawa, I do think he's got a run in him, and so anxious to see where we end up this afternoon.
I do like your Robert McIntyre play to rebound after that 3 over par start for him. The Scotsman's not going to give up, that's for sure. And left-handers do very well, like Akshay Bhatia is doing this week around Augusta National as well. GBank is up the ante, up to $750 bonus for new GBank Visa Signature Card customers. New customers who spend $1,000 in eligible purchases within 90 days from opening up their account, they're going to get a $250 bonus. In addition, if you spend $50,000 on gaming and sports app loads within 30 days of opening up that account, you're going to receive another $500 bonus. That's potentially $750 right then and there. Apply now, VSiN.com/GBank. That's VSIN.com/GBank. Subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions do apply. Jensen, the rest of your day today, is it all Augusta all the time?
All a guest all the time. It is a beautiful thing. Pack it up, head to Oxford tomorrow, and I'll be coming to you live Monday. Who's winning it? Who are we talking about Monday morning?
Oh, I don't know where to go with that answer. I want to say Joaquin Neiman's not dead. I want to say he's not dead yet. Gil Alexander, Kelly Bidwin coming up next. It's a numbers game here on VSiN.